Have you ever felt that the more time you spend with your children, the lonelier you feel yourselves? Today I'm going to show you a typical vacation day with my daughter, and towards the end I'll share something I've been carrying with me for a while regarding unemployment, age, and that loneliness almost no one talks about. We are entering the fourth week of my daughter's vacation, and we are running out of ideas for what to do in her free time. But today we are going to a place where we can spend the whole morning. Hello, I am Chili, an unemployed dad, a freelance designer, which means I don't have a steady job, vacations, or a fixed salary. And this is my life in a bicultural Chinese-Latino family. Here on the way, we always see very traditional things of Shanghai, like this gentleman dealing with the heat. The fashion here is to roll up your shirt, leaving your belly button exposed. Foreigners call this the Beijing bikini. And with this unbearable heat, I wouldn't be surprised if I started doing the same thing. Also on the way, we came across this sculpture of a horse. My daughter always imitates the sound, badly, because it always ends up sounding like a sheep. These are those small neighborhood details that you end up recognizing over time. The same corner, the same vendors, and now also these horses that she greets every time we pass by. Today we are going to this library on Kangding-lu, right next to the Suzhou River. And here outside the library on weekends they always set up a fair selling handmade things and second-hand items. Today we are going to this children's library here in Jing'an called Jing'an Ertong Tushuguan. This library stands out because besides having books, it works almost like a community center, where various events are organized. On weekends, they usually set up mini music festivals, in addition to other cultural activities. They renovated it about 2 years ago. This is a cultural center where many people come, especially older people or retirees who come to exercise here. I find it interesting how a space that you would initially think is just for books ends up working as a true meeting point for the neighborhood, mixing different generations under the same roof. Are there public spaces like this in your city, free, with cultural activities designed for all ages? I would love to know if it's common where you live or if it's rather rare to find. And this whole place has air conditioning. It is completely free. You don't have to pay anything, and on top of that, it has free internet. That's why many people take advantage of spending their mornings here with their kids. On the third floor is the section for babies, or the nursery, a library designed for small children. It is specially decorated for them, with foam padding on the columns and walls because many babies and children come forth. And right now, children are on vacation. But either way, there are extracurricular courses, so many come mostly to do homework. And there are also many aunts, ayi there, as I showed in one of my previous videos. In Chinese, ayi translates to aunt. And they are people who don't necessarily have to be part of the family. It is rather the term used to talk about those who take care of children or the elderly. Almost all the books are in English and Chinese. I've noticed that they promote English quite a bit, especially with the younger ones. They even organize English reading clubs. It's interesting to see that bilingualism from such a young age. Most of the kids here are already used to reading a book interchangeably in either language.
Wow, mira.
And this third floor in the attic was also renovated about a year ago. It's all lined with foam, the floor is made of rubber to cushion falls, and it has air conditioning all the time. It functions as a kind of refuge. And this whole child section in the attic was on the first floor last year, but now it's a restaurant. My daughter also loves these educational books with moving mechanisms. She can sit for a long time, pulling the same lever over and over again, laughing each time as if it were the first. This space is clearly well isolated from the second floor, where people are reading in silence and concentrating. And it makes sense for a kids zone, where it's normal that every now and then there's some crying involved. Here it is also common to see children from mixed families, like my daughter who is Chinese Colombian, or completely foreign children. And this isn't the first time we've come. We had already come here with my wife when my daughter was still in kindergarten. The parents were given an assignment to promote reading with our children. That's why we had already discovered this place. Here, they really encourage older people to never get bored. There are dance activities or gentlemen playing xiangqi or Chinese chess. It's a very common scene. I think these centers also work as a getaway to pass the time, and it's one of the things I like most about here. When you retire or stop working, you have all these options right at hand. You see very few elderly people alone or locked up in their homes. There is always a group, an activity, or a nearby park to meet up. Culturally, there seems to be a real commitment to ensuring that old age doesn't mean isolation. What is the situation like for older adults in your country? Are there spaces designed specifically for senior citizens? On the first floor, there are classrooms for cooking courses and a canteen-style community restaurant with super delicious home-cooked food. Here we are going to eat with my wife. We come every once in a while. I like this idea of combining a library, a restaurant, and classrooms under the same roof. A comprehensive community center. You can spend the morning reading, go down to eat lunch, and watch the neighbors in cooking class. And since this library is right next to the Suzhou River or Suzhou Creek, almost every time we finish eating, we take a walk around here. They fixed up this river quite a bit. Tourist boat routes pass every 15 minutes, and on a clear day, the view reaches all the way to the Bund. Just a few years ago, this river had a reputation for being quite polluted, and today it is one of the most pleasant walks in the area. In your city, do you have a river or coastal area that has also been renovated in recent years? And sometimes even you can see people swimming in this river. As we walk along here, I'm taking the opportunity to think out loud about something that's been weighing on my mind for a while. I'm still looking for a job. I've lost count of how many interviews I've had, yet I still don't have anything steady. And something I've noticed, especially after a certain age, is that time starts to move differently. A year used to feel long. Now the months fly by before I realize it, and suddenly it's the end of the year again. To be honest, I don't have many friends here, and sometimes I feel quite lonely. Not in the sense of lacking people around me, since I have my wife and daughter, but in that other sense, not having anyone to simply go out for a drink with or chat about nothing in particular, the way we used to when we were young. It's a similar story with my daughter, though in reverse. Being able to spend so much time with her during this break has truly been a huge privilege. Not every dad gets that chance, but to be frank, by the end of the week, I'm exhausted from playing full-time babysitter. It's a mix of two simultaneous feelings: gratitude for this time with her, and the genuine fatigue of keeping it up week after week without much of a break for myself. Here we are heading back home. Have any of you experienced this too? Living in another country and finding it hard to make real friends once you're past a certain age? And on the way, we also came across this vet clinic that also adopts pets, mostly cats. And this tree that smells really nice.
It smells good.
In the end, these are the kinds of days I enjoy sharing the most. Without a tourist plan behind it, without any spectacular place to show, just a neighborhood fulfilling its function as a neighborhood. With its library, its river, its older neighbors playing chess, and a family trying to fill one more morning of vacation. Tell me what you thought of this video. If you liked it, you know what to do. See you next time. Bye bye!